Hey, what's up, y'all? Have y'all heard what's going on with GloRilla? Do you know this girl got arrested? And before you start, let me tell you what happened. Because this is how you know Georgia is still very, very, very much racist. And this is how you see the people that botched up the YSL trial and just decades of corruption on both sides. Y'all, GloRilla got arrested today. Again. But why did they arrest her? Because she reported a home invasion. Her home was violated and she called the cops. And instead of doing what they were supposed to do, they ended up arresting her. Anyway, let's get into this because I hope she sues those cops. I hope she sues everything. I am tired of America in 2025. No one is doing their job, but everybody is doing the most. Listen to this, okay? TMZ said, we broke the story of GloRilla being arrested in Georgia for felony drug possession earlier today. And her legal team is calling the charges a total outrage of justice, saying she wasn't even at home. So let me get this straight. How are you arresting a woman for having drugs in her house when she wasn't even home, but she reported a home invasion? She better get that money. They said, as we told you, GloRilla's house was broken into this weekend. By the time cops arrived, the suspects were gone. But investigators say they encountered weed in their search for the burglars, and the rapper was in charge with felony drug possession. Again, how? If your house was broken into, and she's assuming it's a robbery, how are you even saying that is her weed? How do you know somebody didn't break into her house and plant it? But even then, how do you call because your house was broken into and they pull up into a mansion and they know it's GloRilla's mansion, and instead of searching for justice, y'all are running around her house like looking for a reason to arrest her? Forsyth County Sheriff's Office tells TMZ deputies responded to a report of a burglary in progress Saturday around 1:30 a.m. at a residence in Atlanta suburbs. Of course it is Atlanta. Atlanta. The sheriff's office says 3 suspects entered the house when an armed occupant fired at the intruders. She was not home at the time of the burglary, the sheriff's office said. The 3 suspects fled. No injuries have been reported in the incidents, okay? And Glow's attorney says jewelry was stolen. Deputies executed a search of the area with K-9 teams and a drone unit. Detectives also responded to the scene, and deputies reportedly detected a strong odor consistent with illegal narcotics. A drug task force was summoned, and a search warrant was secured for the house, saying a significant amount of marijuana was discovered in plain view and in the closet of the master bedroom. First of all, isn't weed legal? I thought it was. I don't know. But it is legal, right? But also, how did this woman call you for help? And you literally you smell weed and you got a search warrant? You smelled weed and you got it. Let that sink in. And you got a search warrant because you were Why are any black celebrities even living in Atlanta? I get it. You might have family there. I get it. It's Black Hollywood. Why are you living in Atlanta where the police and the feds are so targeting y'all? And yes, and this is the sad thing, most of the police and feds down there look like us. Why are y'all living there? I mean, it's too late for GloRilla because I know you can't move in 24 hours, but yo. They said she was later charged with felony possession of marijuana and possession of a Schedule I controlled substance. She turned herself in voluntarily to the Forsyth County Jail on Tuesday and was released the same day on bail at $22,000. Attorneys for Big Glow, Marissa Goldberg, and Drew Findling at the Findling law firm told TMZ the arrest of Gloria Woods is a disturbing window into how warped law enforcement priorities have become. Again, I agree. I'll go off on my tangent later. I agree. It's about policing. And Miss Woods was out of town when her residence became a target for a group of home invaders who most likely knew she wasn't there. What they didn't know was that she had family staying with her that were traumatized by the violent entrance of this group, who grabbed high-value jewelry before taking off once they realized the home wasn't vacant. Her lawyers added, when her family members did the right thing and called law enforcement, instead of investigating the violent home invasion and theft at her home, they instead sought a search warrant when they spotted what they believed was a small amount of marijuana. Law enforcement then sought the arrest warrants for her, even though she hadn't even been home for some time. No arrest warrants have been issued for the violent home invaders. Miss Woods is a victim, not a suspect. This is our tax dollars at work. Absolutely unbelievable. Again, this story is crazy, okay? Listen, Atlanta has a problem. My heart actually goes out to GloRilla. Can you imagine hearing, because first of all, everybody's acting like with that home invasion, there couldn't have been a body left on the living room floor. And I'm not talking about the invaders. I'm talking about her family. If you got enough BALLS to roll up armed into people's house to rob them, without even checking what, I think they actually knew people were staying there and they were like, we can take them. It might have been women. It might have been, who knows? It doesn't matter. The point is, you get a call from your family saying, yo, something almost happened to us. Your jewelry stolen. God knows what else. You're traumatized. I'm sure nobody wants to stay in that house. You call the police for some protection. And as soon as the police get there, they just see a bunch of black people living in a big mansion and they're figuring out how they can arrest somebody. And even when you find that weed on the scene, you don't try to say maybe the robbers dropped it. You don't try to say whose is it. You issue a arrest warrant for the most famous person. At this point, this is Atlanta. I would say it's racism, except for half the people in Atlanta are black. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta, but it's weird and it's punishing. And most of all, it's stupid. I'm telling you, I feel like the city of Atlanta is going to go too far one day. And literally they are going to get sued for millions or billions. Or maybe this is just the way it is because, yeah, what is that? Do y'all think, and please don't be in the comments being like, well, they shouldn't have weed laying around. Weed is not illegal. It's not illegal, and it was laying on the counter. And the fact that clearly it wasn't anything illegal, because before they called the police, they would have hid it. That's sad. It's super, super sad. Anyway, shout out to GloRilla and her family. It's just like, listen, at the end of the day, she was out of town. There was a violent break-in. Somebody could have been hurt. She hadn't been home for a while. And at the end of the day, it's just weed. Anybody saying that the cops were not targeting her, I don't even know what to say. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.